We're back here with another video. And today, kind of drifting apart from, what's going on in the market. Obviously, China and America are now in negotiations of, reducing those tariffs. I believe, the crazy tax, I believe it was 25-50% tax on China with the U.S. has now been waived off for about 21 days, 3 weeks. And now they're in negotiations. So market's up, everyone's happy right now. And I'm here to talk about, a Chinese company that is now based off in San Francisco, which is called WeRide. Now, I'm going to go look deep into this company, kind of see the good and the bad about it. And maybe a potential, stock that you could be looking forward to into looking at your portfolio. Now, obviously, when looking at a stock, looking at buying a potential stock, you must research. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to research this stock, look at a couple articles, look at where its stock price is, and let's get into it. All right, so as we can see here, WeRide Inc. Right down here is a Chinese company. That company's products and services include Robotaxi, Robobus, Robovon, and Robosweepers. Company has an advanced driving assistance system that enables advanced autonomous driving functions on passenger vehicles. So, what is the company? What does it do? Right? It's essentially, an Uber type of situation based off of, in China. And it drives itself. There's no driver, right? So you get in the Uber or you get in the Robotaxi. There's no driver. It takes you where you want to be and you're out of there. This is the future, right? This is kind of the direction where Ubers are going to go to, right? It's cheaper because you're not going to have to pay a service fee for the Uber driver. You won't have to tip anyone, right? This will make it cheaper for people. It'll make it easier for people. You can have more of these around, right? There's basically, unlimited supply. Probably a limited supply, but you don't have to deal with, saying anything. You get it and you go. That's it. Now, why do I like this company? Right? There's a lot of companies that are out there that are making sort of, this type of, this type of engineering, whatever you want to call it, this type of taxi. So this company uses NVIDIA's chips. To start off with that, NVIDIA is obviously, one of the leaders in AI, and NVIDIA has invested around 80% of, has invested 80% into this company. They have invested a lot into the market with this company and invested, just a lot in them. So as you can see here, right around here is, obviously when NVIDIA invested in them, and their market price went up, shot back down when split. I believe it split or it went down regardless of the situation. That's when it went up, right? Now, what else have they done? As you can see here, WeRide CEO on expanding partnership with Uber on Robotaxi services. I would watch that video if you're really into it. I just watched it. But a recap of that video is they're planning on doing 15 cities with Uber in the next 5 years. Meaning, they're planning on going to, currently they're in San Francisco. They want to go to Dubai. They want to have it. I believe they talked about Europe, France, and, more in Asia. So they're targeting cities where you go on the Uber app and you'll see an option where it says WeRide. Right? Cheaper option, most likely, more efficient option, etc. Now, once people get more comfortable with this, and once people see, that it starts to get cheaper, right? You're not paying a service fee for the driver. I believe this is kind of the direction where the world is going. Uber is already a company that I love because, who's going to stop using Uber, right? Everyone needs to get picked up once in a while. You've had a few one day. You don't have a car right now, whatever the case may be, right? And this is just adding on to Uber's kind of, platform, right? I believe WeRide is partnering with the right companies and doing the right things, which is why I love this company. And, it's up, as you can see, 27% today. Obviously, it's more due to the market than itself. But, this partnership happened with Uber last week. So they're going places, they're doing the right things, and that's what you like to see from a company. And, when I, kind of look at my beginning video on like when to get in, my principles video, technology, right? Always get investing in companies that, have something to do with the future or in this for the long term. You're not in it for a short-term gain. That also means investing in the right time. Obviously, you can see here prices are a little inflated. But at the end of the day, investing in a company that worth $10, even if it goes down to $8, obviously you're going to lose a little more percentage there because you're not just investing $10, but it's not at a crazy, price. Obviously, you got to wait until this calms down a little with the tariffs, and I believe there's a recession coming, but that's besides the point. When buying a company, no matter what the company is, you got to set a target point, right? When I'm entering, why I'm entering at this point, what the analysts are saying, what they're saying it could go down to, reading about it, on it every day. You don't even have to look at it every day. You could just see that the market's up and that your portfolio's up. So it's probably up too. But you got to stay on it. And this is a company that I believe is going in the right direction. I believe has the right materials to go, do its thing. It's currently, its PE rating is down. That means the price per earnings, it means their earnings are better than the price, essentially. That they're reporting good numbers and their stock market, their market price isn't, showing that. It's the opposite. Now, that might be because the market just doesn't trust, the company. It just has a lot of question marks, right? Now, let's talk about those question marks. Obviously, when you're dealing with a company like this, with any self-service, kind of AI sort of thing, you got to realize, the safety, right? I mean, WeRide, obviously, if you're watching that video, the CEO is talking about. Also very important to watch, the CEO of the company that you're investing in. You don't want to invest in a CEO that's a nut job or that doesn't know where the company is not making the right moves. Anyway, when you're investing in a company like this, obviously the flaw is going to be, safety, right? If it's getting me to point A to point B, how many times is it going to mess up, right? Is it going to crash? Is it going to get sued? Is it going to fall to the ground? These are stuff that you're going to have to, keep aware of. Maybe see a report that comes out that WeRide, just doesn't, that maybe they did something that crashed the car and killed someone or injured someone and they got sued, etc. The situation might be. It's out there already. It's partnered up with Uber in cities. So, stay on it. Make sure they're not killing anybody. Make sure they're not injuring anybody. And once you see, kind of a good market cap for it, or a good market price for it, where you're entering at maybe 6 or 7. Attack, man. I mean, go for it. It's my take. Very questionable company. Start looking more into its Nvidia situation, how much Nvidia invested in and why it dropped after that. But it's an interesting company to keep looking at. I would have it on your watch list. Just have it there. Obviously, you don't have to invest in it. But this is where the world is going. This is kind of one of the steps where AI is taking, where it's going to take out those types of jobs, all those customer service jobs, right? Those service jobs a lot of them are going to be taken out. So let's get into that more. Let's see, more of the story on the 40 market price cap here and what Nvidia did for it. So what's going on? What's going on with, this big drop that we have here? When, as we can see, Nvidia invested, I'd say 1.7 million shares in WeRide. All of a sudden, we're up here and now we're down here. Some financial pain, financial suffering, not a lot of growth from the company. After that, kind of big investment that Nvidia made, obviously the market's assuming that without all that money, you gotta do something with it. It's not knowing what they've done, something to look into, but it looks like they're starting to go in the right direction here. It looks like they're starting to put in a lot of that money into the safety of it, because, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. How you get a company like this, and they could go down real quick with, 1 or 2 people getting hurt or injured, died. It's over. Reputation, etc. Social media, kaboosh. So, the financials were very, wasn't reporting too well. Revenue was not, going their way last couple years. I think it's starting to go up as a company now. I feel like a lot of the money that that Nvidia invested had to go in somewhere, and I think it went into generating the best car possible. At the end of the day, you have to protect this type of stuff. I'm gonna look into it now, but more kind of the the bad stuff is the competition. We have right here Pony AI, which, as you can see, let's look at their profile here, is essentially very similar to the WeRide. It's an AV company, Republic of China in the US, very similar to WeRide, and it offers the Robotaxi right here, and it offers a Robo Truck, very similar, and it's trading at double of what the WeRide is trading at. So why is that? It's reporting better. Earnings are better. It's going up in revenue. Let's see their PE rating. PE ratio is nowhere to be seen there. But, a company where they're basically everything of their competition. So you can see down here, it has partnered with Uber. So Uber's partnering with, multiple of these types of companies. The difference is where we're partnering. So, certain companies partner with Uber in Abu Dhabi, certain companies, partner in different places. Let's see, looks like here they launch in the Middle East. So the competition here is a lot, who's getting Uber's approval. Now, with that being said, as you can see from that, obviously Uber is kind of the main driver here. kind of calling the shots out between these two. Who's going to impress more? Who's going to come up the numbers? Who's, has got the better car, etc. With the Pony AI kind of, we ride race. That's why it's kind of very risky, but a high reward here. I wouldn't mind putting in $100, whatever very small portion. Once you find a good entry point on this company where it's not valued very high, it's at $10 a share right now. It could easily, drop. I feel like we're going into a recession. I feel like a lot of things are going to drop right now. It's gone up a lot because today it's up 24%, a lot more than we can see the Pony AI today went up 3%. Sorry, 10%. A lot of the Chinese companies obviously going up today, right? There's a lot more kind of weight on the shoulders that these Chinese companies had with America, that they were kind of in between. Now that weight on their shoulders is off, and ready to look on and look for the future here. And these two companies in the race for the Uber, who's gonna make the better one? I just see more done with Reride. I see more. I love the partnership with NVIDIA. It's a leading AI company in the world, and for NVIDIA to kind of put in, we saw the number here was 1.7 million shares on Reride. It shows commitment from NVIDIA, and it shows that they believe in this company. NVIDIA's not going to invest in a company for no reason, right? They see the future, they see the potential, they see where they're doing, they see what where they're going in the world, why this is the future, why this is essentially, I believe, we're all going to be living in a world where we're not going to have a guy in the front anymore. Taxis are going to be wiped out, and Ubers are going to have, this type of company, supply the cars for them. I think it's the future. I feel like it goes in the right direction. I feel like it's getting good support, but it has competition. It's not reporting well. It has a lot of questionable kind of, scenarios where someone could get hurt, someone could get injured, it gets on the news, it's over. Where, all this type of stuff, like every company is going to have its, ups and downs, its goods and its bads. I like the good, where I can invest a small portion of this company, to play around with it. Company that I believe in, a company that NVIDIA believes so much in that they're willing to put in 1.7 million shares. I like the direction it's going. I like the support. Does it outweigh the pros and cons? Who knows? We'll see in the future. I would have it on your watch list. Keep it in mind. Look at it. See where it's going. We'll see where Pony AI. See what other connections this might gonna get. All right. Maybe we'll start getting deliveries. Start getting with Amazon. Who knows? I feel like there's a lot of potential for this company, and I'm all here for it. So this is going to be the end of the video, kind of analyzing, a Reride stock and Pony AI stock, self-driving system, more into Uber, Uber, definitely a stock you're going to want to have where it has these two companies that are fighting for it. And, a company like Uber that's just never going to go down, right? We're always going to have to, Uber's going to have to, everyone needs a car. Everyone's going to have to go places without, driving. So, yeah, it's going to end off the video here. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you kind of look more into, the car and, kind of stuff that we need, right? I feel like Uber is kind of something we're always going to have. Amazon, obviously, something we're always going to have. AI is something we're always going to have. And what these companies are doing for the future. This is what it is. It's what I like. And yeah, it's been a while, but I'll see you guys in the next video next week, or maybe another time this week. And it's been real. Peace.